only after the last tree has been cut, the last stream has been poisoned, and the last fish has been caught, will man realize he cannot eat money. Is 2012 the beginning of the end? Or the end of the beginning? From this postulation, it'd be impossible to tell, wouldn't it? A. You cannot compare two things against each other. Neither may be true. And B. As all things are cyclical, isn't the end of one thing always the beginning of another? So both may be true. You pause the slide for a sec, Jim? And I just want to take a moment and say, here we are on November 7th, 2012, day after Election Day. President Obama has been reelected a second term. The point being that even as I'm standing here talking, we're quickly running out of 2012. So unless I want to change the title of this to 2013, which would just be weird, I decided I'm of a mind it's better that it gets posted than perfect. So I'll forego my 30-plus years of radio and television broadcasting, making sure every inflection and breath is just right, and we'll just keep the tapes rolling, right? I mean, after all, it's not like it's on Discover or the History Channel yet. Now, with that being said, a lot of the information you're about to hear, in fact, probably the majority of it, is going to be brand new to you. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, and perhaps yourself one as well. Don't believe a word I'm saying. I know, right? Yet at the same time, I'm also inviting you for just a few moments to stop believing everything anyone else has ever told you either, including this. You see, even if not one word of this is true, it still may be the greatest science fiction fairy tale ever written, in my opinion, which of course begins once upon a time. Now, never believe stories which start once upon a time. Always believe stories that start once upon a time. Which is it? Always or never? And we're back to the original problem. A, you cannot compare two things against each other and ever know for sure. Once upon a time, there was a princess. Once upon a long, long time ago, in a galaxy not far away from where you are right now, our story begins over 5,000 years ago, 3114 BC, before Christ, in a little country then called Tikal, Mexico, now known as Guatemala, where some Mayans, some fellow human beings, indigenous to Central America, left a message which they felt important enough to carve in stone for future generations. Well, at the same time, they had to know the greater propensity would be that they would never believe them. And nobody believed Noah, right? And as evidence, they knew what they were talking about. Along with their messages for people 5,000 years in the future, with their Hallmark card, they also included this calendar, suitable for framing. It's not only the world's longest calendar, it's also a map, a star chart. And what baffled scientists to this day is it precisely charted the motion of every celestial body in the galaxy for the next 5,125 years. This is called the Mayan long count, and this is what we're going to be interested in here. Anytime you see this number or something resembling this number, I want you to hear that in your head, and you'll probably be hearing it in your sleep. As you can see on our chart here, the second event listed in recorded human history, the start date of the Mayan calendar, August 11, 3114 BC. Fast forward 5,125 years brings us to right now, 2012. And at this point, probably more people than not have heard of 2012, or that solstice is the last day of the Mayan calendar on which day their messages are destined to come true. Yet I guarantee you, within 6 weeks of the date of this recording, virtually every human being alive on planet Earth will know that winter solstice, 12/21/12, is the day the world will end. The sky is falling. And to this end, I've included this clip with a fellow who may remind you of someone from the movie 2012, which I, of course, have no permission to use.
Charlie. Good for you, Bill. Thanks for calling. This is Charlie Frost reporting live from Yellowstone National Park, soon to become the world's largest active volcano. I'll be right back, folks.
Hey, do you mind if I join you? I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, I only got a minute.
Hey,
Pickle?
No. I was listening to the broadcast, and I was wondering, what exactly is it that's going to start in Hollywood?
It's the apocalypse. End of days. The judgment day. The end of the world, my friend. Christians called it the rapture, but the Mayans knew about it. The Hopis, the I Ching, the Bible, kind of. Beer?
Yeah.
So look, I gotta eat. Why don't you download my blog? It's free. Of course we do appreciate donations.
In ancient times, the Mayan people were the first civilization to discover that this planet had an expiration date. According to their calendar, in the year 2012, a cataclysmic event will unfold caused by an alignment of the planets in our solar system that only happens every 640,000 years.
Oh, not again.
Pretty neat, huh? I did all the animation myself.
Just imagine the Earth as an orange. Oh.
You lure them in with humor, then you make them think.
Our sun will begin to emit such extreme amounts of radiation,
those little bastards are called neutrinos,
that the core of the Earth will melt. That's the inside part of the orange, leaving the crust of our planet free to shift. In 1958, Professor Charles Hapgood named it Earth crust displacement. Albert Einstein did support it. People will get it all. The forces of Mother Nature will be so devastating, it will bring an end to this world on winter solstice 12/21/12. Always remember, folks, you heard it first from Charlie Frost.
You'd have to keep a thing like this under wraps. I mean, just think about it, okay? First, the stock market would go. Then, the economy, boom! The dollar, boom! And then pandemonium in the streets. War, genocide, boom, boom, boom!
Bullshit. Nobody could keep that big a secret, Charlie. Somebody blow the whistle.
And every once in a while, some poor little sucker tries.
Hey, who's he talking about? I do all my own animations. Well, there you have it. I mean, that's good enough for me. I mean, I don't know what more proof you need. The world is going to end in less than 6 weeks. Wow, wouldn't that be weird? And if you believe that, you'll be really excited to know they've now discovered that the moon really is made out of green cheese. Yes! And using a sophisticated algorithm, scientists have now definitively calculated the actual size of planet Earth. And if that's not exciting enough, just check out your local weather for next week.
We had beautiful weather here for this weekend, mostly sunny skies and highs in the upper 80s. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, mild, with those temperatures dropping down into the mid-70s. Now, we've got some big changes here for the upcoming work week. Starting tomorrow, we're going to have a volcanic eruption right near Charlottesville, and it's going to make things rather toasty across the area. We're going to see lava spill out into central Virginia and make temperatures in Richmond at 350 degrees, Fredericksburg at 345. Charlottesville, the hot spot at 400. Not as hot off towards the tidewater. A little bit more comfortable with highs near 100 degrees. The reason why, we're going to have tidal waves moving in ahead of this. A global superstorm developing off towards the Atlantic Ocean. This thing is headed our way, but the key to the forecast, right before this thing makes landfall, it is going to be deflected by Godzilla. Now, a lot can change between now and then. We're looking at the latest data. We'll continue to bring you the very latest. I do want to encourage you, though, that if you ever do see a sleeping coyote, do not wake it. Bad idea. Okay, here's the forecast. Volcano 350 there for Monday. Global superstorm on Tuesday. We could see maybe about 200 inches of rainfall, wind gusts up to 1,000 miles an hour. Godzilla Wednesday, I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen on that day. After that, though, how about this to finish off the work week? Low humidity, lots of sunshine, with highs in the upper 80s heading into next weekend.
Now, he made this just months before Hurricane Sandy, a real megastorm. Is that prophecy or what? The point is, if I hear one more clown banging pots and pans saying the end of the world, that's the most preposterous thing I've ever heard in my life. It doesn't say that anywhere. No prophecy says the end of the world. It doesn't say it in the Mayan prophecy. It's not in biblical prophecy, not in any Indian prophecy, and not in the Quran. That's a tie for the #1 lie. In fact, I have a standing offer for anyone to show me any prophecy which states the end of the world. It doesn't exist. This world we live on, this third rock from the sun, is exactly that. A big, giant rock. It's not going anywhere. There is only one prophecy I know of which correctly uses the phrase, the end of the world. And yet, while no prophecy states the end of the world, they all clearly point to the end of something. You've probably heard the phrase before, end times, or end time prophecy. In fact, the Mayan prophecy clearly states that the last day of their calendar marks the end of time. Now, if we're ever to figure out the riddle of the end of time and what that looks like, perhaps we should have a look at the beginning of time, shouldn't we? Another version of the prophecy says, "For then shall be great upheaval, such as hath not been seen since the beginning of creation to this time, nor ever shall be." As you can see here, the cause of all the stress, the strife, the upheaval, clearly the Death Star. Now, I wish we had time to go through every line and every prophecy, but for now, let's keep this one in mind. The sun shall not set for days on end. Just make sure you have plenty of sunscreen 1000 on hand. Now, a lot of fuss has been made about these numbers. The end date of the Mayan calendar, 12/21/12. Ooh, ones and twos and twos and ones, and 1 + 2 is 3, and this really says 333, and heard it all. Oy vey's mir. So right now I'm going to cover why these numbers, it's impossible these numbers mean anything. I know, right? Now don't get me wrong, I'm a numbers guy. I love seeing 1111 on the clock or look for patterns, my cash register receipts, etc. But my source says if it were all about the numbers, it would be much more ironic if it happened on December 12th, or 12/12/12. At what time? Well, there you go. See, you're getting pretty good at this. Up, no man knows the hour, AM or PM. I want to stick with this for a second. and further demonstrate why it's virtually impossible the numbers 12, 21, 12 mean anything in relation to the prophecy. Let's have a look at this cartoon where one Mayan walks up to another, the calendar builder, and says, "Hey, how come it ends in 2012? You see, that's an impossible situation. Never happened. Never happened that a Mayan would walk up to the calendar maker and say, "Hey, how come it ends in 2012? "You featherbrain, it ends in 5125. We'll be extinct." Or depending on what grape juice they were drinking, "Hey, you stonehead, 2012 won't even be invented for another 30,113 years. You see? I don't have time to go into the Gregorian calendar, which we now use, consisting of 12 months of varying lengths of days, which is designed to confuse us, going against the force of nature, relates to the Mayan calendar, a perfect 13-month cycle consisting of 28 days, in line with the moon cycle, the feminine cycle, 364.5 days. But we don't have time to go into all that. What day did the Mayan calendar begin? Day 1, year 1. To a Mayan, that's exactly what day the Mayan calendar began. On our chart of history since the formation of the universe, let's find August 11th, 3114 BC. Day 1, year 1. I believe that puts that right there. Okay, here's your pop quiz, and it is a trick question. What day does the Mayan calendar end? Did you say December 21st, 2012? Winter solstice? I told you it was a trick question. The Mayan calendar ends on the last day of the cycle of 5125.36 years, which puts us, oh yeah, right now, 2012. Perhaps the question is not what happens on winter solstice 2012, 12/21/12. Perhaps, just maybe, a better question we should be asking is what is it the Mayans know happens every 5,125 years that we're not paying attention to? Now, earliest recorded human history, 3200 BC, Sumeria, Babylonia, Jerusalem, Mesopotamia. From the beginning of written history, 3100 BC, or exactly 1 Mayan cycle ago. The beginning of written history. Now, is that because there were no humans before that? Or is that possibly, just maybe, because every record of our existence prior to that was wiped out the last time this happened? On our chart of recorded history, the first event before the start date of the Mayan calendar, a mere 36 years prior to the start date of the new cycle, a lesser Tolman's hypothetical bolide. Let's see what a Tolman's hypothetical bolide is. According to Wikipedia, Tolman's hypothetical bolide: an asteroid or comet struck the Earth 3150 BC. 1 Mayan cycle ago. They're saying plus or minus 200 years. We only got to go 36 years. Let's go back another Mayan cycle. Add another Mayan cycle to that, another 5,000 years, about 8,000 BC. 7640 plus or minus, so about 8,000 BC. something happens. Well, how do the Mayans know this? For some answers, we have to go back to our handy-dandy 3-ton pocket Mayan calendar, which charts the motion of every celestial body in the galaxy for 5,125 years, right down to the precession of the equinoxes, which is about a 26,000-year journey as the Earth wobbles 23.5 degrees on its axis, giving our solar system its equinoxes and solstices. Let's check our reputable sources. Encyclopedia Britannica states the precession of the equinoxes, about 25,772 years. Wikipedia, cycle of approximately 26,000 years. Occasionally incorrectly called a great or platonic year, a great year. Estimated to be about 25,765 years, right in there. Recently coined as the cosmic or galactic year, a period in which our solar system, as you know, our solar system, we revolve around our sun revolves around the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy rotates around the center of the universe. The Platonic year, named for the Greek philosopher Plato, Plato coined the perfect year as the return of all the planets and stars back to their original positions. You see? Astrological ages occur because of a phenomenon known as the precession of the equinoxes. This is a fascinating animal of about now 25,920 years. Consisting of 12 cycles of 2,160 years. I'm sure most of you already know what astrological age it is currently.